I really didn't want to say that because I love this, to hear the happy chatter. I didn't want to interrupt you guys. Kindred spirits, you are in the right place at the right time. Welcome to Woodland Chapel, Salem Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Shannon Preem. I grew up here in this chapel every Sunday and in the choir, and I will be your host today. Wow, I don't have to do anything else now, do I? Without applause. Thank you for making it today. You could not be in a better place at a better time than right here, right now. You picked a day when Blaine and Annie are singing. And from the incredible mind of Reverend Julie Applegate, we will explore personalizing the infinite. So let's just get personal for a minute here along our theme, shall we? What great thing has happened to you this week? And you can just shout it out, any little thing. Somebody say something that really was cool that happened to them. Yes, okay. Camping.
My great-granddaughter said, "You're my world."
I'm sorry, I was scratching. What did you say?
My great-granddaughter said, "You're my world."
That's wonderful. I don't know if anybody can top that. I don't know, I might be able to top that. I got a new little toy that told me my keys were in my car and I was up here. So, artificial intelligence has its role. So that was... Anything else that somebody wants to shout out? Oh, right. Besides my little toy, I have a wonderful mother that's very thriving and was in the newspaper again. Well, how does that feel? We start our morning with a glass half full. Actually, more than half full. So, it was an intentional trick that I pulled so that we would raise ourselves up. Thank you, Kathy Prather, for the wonderful meditation this morning. I missed it, but I heard it sort of from the outside in. Everyone is family here, whether you've come for years like I have, or whether this is your first time. These walls and gardens, you can find open hearts and open minds, even if it's just your own mind and your own heart, but there are others here that are more than happy to share with you. There are no wrong questions to ask in our faith. We're here for you, regardless of where you are on your spiritual path, or even if you're not on a path. You are welcome. Is there anybody here for the first time that we can welcome? Oh, yay. Make sure we have welcome packets, and make sure you check out our library. It's got some phenomenal books and Science of Mind magazines and other magazines.
Well, Shannon, we will have welcome packets for you.
We will, yeah.
And we've had a lot of people and a lot of changes going on, and so we're a little behind on that, but you get to have a Science of Mind magazine, which I think you will really like.
It's worth the wait.
We'll make it worth the wait.
Yes.
Yeah.
Announcements.
We'll put chocolate in it.
Oh. So, I'm new. That's a good idea. Under our announcement, next week, Reverend Dawn's topic will be Monster Inc. And I'm not sure what that means, but sometimes that means, in my part, a costume change. So I have no idea. Yes.
I'm sorry. Cheryl will be speaking next week. It's the 4th of July weekend, correct? And we're going to give Reverend Dawn, and who I know many of you expected to see Reverend Dawn here today, and you got me, so let's hold up and make do. But, and he's taking a personal care day, which is what we have been talking about all month. And so to let him have a little more personal care, Cheryl Guest will be speaking. She's a practitioner here. Those of you who have not met her, Cheryl, would you just stand up a little bit? I know.
Yes.
I know.
She's wonderful.
And so do come. I think it's going to be a very exciting topic. So
Our next Soup for the Soul fundraiser will be July 16, following the morning service. We enjoy soup and bread and usually lots of other things. It's amazing. And so, yes.
Next Sunday's first Sunday, Pascha, right?
Right. Yeah. Soup for the.
Sunday next week.
Yes. Potluck Sunday. But Soup for the Soul, how much have we raised so far? We're doing pretty well. A lot. Okay. Yeah. Enough to buy an AED. Oh. And it's a deal. I mean, they only ask for a $5 donation, but you get an amazing array of soups and breads and desserts, even salads sometimes. So please join us then. And you don't even have to go to the service. You can just come afterwards with your $5. We want your money. So, let's see. Okay. Please, sign up in the library to bring soup, bread, and volunteer to either set up or clean up. So we need some help. We would like sharing our time, talent, and treasure as a goal here. Gifts to our center may take many forms. They may come in the form of money, or they may become in the form of giving through your service and your talents. If you feel called to give a gift of service, please contact anybody here and let us know. We've got wonderful grounds to keep. We even have some computers that might need some questions answered. We have lots of volunteer opportunities. In fact, one of them is we need somebody to take the step ladder from our storage room to the sanctuary and then assist with changing the banner before July 1. So if somebody can help with that, just let Reverend Julie Applegate or myself know, or anybody that is here, and we'll get your name down. We need folks to organize the potluck, which is, like you said, the first Sunday of every month, and hospitality is on the 5th Sunday for the months of 5 Sundays. So please see Cheryl Ostrander or myself if you can help with that. We're so sad that we're going to be losing Susie and Greg. Oh, sure. Yes. And I think there's a special treat this after our service with extra special goodies. So please join us for fellowship after the church service. Okay, so now we have a song, congregational song.
We're going to stand for this, thanking Spirit for this day. Your words are in your bulletin.
Wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful
you for the joy. Thank you for the joy, Spirit. Thank you for the joy. Thank you for the joy, Spirit. Thank you for the wonderful, that wonderful, that wonderful, that wonderful joy. That wonderful, that wonderful, that wonder. One more, one more, one more. What? Music, music. Thank you for the music, Spirit. Thank you for the music. Thank you for the music, Spirit. Thank you for that wonderful, that wonderful, that wonderful, that wonderful music.
Yeah.
That wonderful, that wonderful, that wonderful music. Thank you for this
Healing
day.
Day.
Thank you for this day,
Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day.
And yes, so it is. Beautiful singing. Thank you for those wonderful gratitudes.
Thank you. Now I'd like to welcome Ruth Tenike. She's going to pray us in and set the mood for this morning.
Yes, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, One. Thank you for all that we have, for all that we accept, and the wonder of children, great-grandchildren, everything that is coming up new. And I know that this group gathered today is so strong in the love of God. And this is the day that has been made for all of us. And I know love spreads as we breathe. We breathe in love, remanufacture it, and breathe it out around the world. And I'm so thankful that I'm able to be here and to speak with you today, because I know every mind, every heart is all one here and everywhere. And so I say, please receive these words and know that the law of love always says yes, and so it is. And now we have an affirmation. If Shannon didn't take the bulletin away, here it is. Yes, if you would look in your program about halfway down the first page, it says affirmation. Let us say it together. Today, I welcome true intimacy with the infinite. I allow myself to be seen as the expression of God that I am. I receive. I know. I release and let it go. And so it is.
I'm proud to introduce Catherine as our reader today.
Thank you, Shannon. All right, working? It's working. Today's reading is from the Science of Mind magazine. It's entitled Release, Let Go, Be Free. I selected this message based on its title. Our ability to do this is one of the greatest self-care acts we can do for ourselves. You'll recognize these next words from Ricky Byers. Annie and Blaine often sing them to us, with us. I release and I let go. I let spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, it's only up to God. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, reminds us, the law of God operating within establishes that which is good, beautiful, and true. It is done, I accept, I believe, I know. In today's message, whatever is in the way of your inner peace, let it go. Let it go. Remember those chalkboard exercises of yesteryear? Who else could write the above statement 100 times to let it sink in? Whatever is in the way of your inner peace, let it go. The author of today's message shares two perfect examples and two of my personal favorite experiences of letting it go. We've been practicing this letting go for years and continue to discover what it means. We've gone to extremes to let things go. Walking across 30 feet of hot coals to release our fears of living full out. It's pretty fun if you haven't done it. Hanging upside down and flying on a trapeze to recognize our inherent abilities to soar. That's pretty fun too. The author shares, nowadays, I may choose to take a pilgrimage, as I did in Alabama, to let go of my rage over the history of racial terror in our country. I was so devastated by emotion that I had to lie in bed and heal through the tears. And then I got up and walked across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, facing my fears and finding my freedom. Sometimes letting go can be much simpler. Nothing that requires a pilgrimage or a circus act. Always, it will require a willing and open heart. I appreciate the exercise of untethering my soul. I often sit with the samskara, those little wounds that circulate in our hearts, taking up space where love could flow. I open my arms wide. I feel the feelings, even when it seems excruciating, and let it pass through. In what ways do you let go? Raise your hand if you love the feeling of freedom that you receive when you let go. Keep your hand up if you desire more. Whatever is in the way of your inner peace, let it go. Our closing affirmation today is, today I release and I let go and let Spirit run my life. Let's say it all together. Today I release and I let go and let Spirit run my life. Back to Shannon.
Thank you. Back to Blaine and Annie.
So this is a song I wrote about 20 years ago, but I just finished doing a foundations class. I just finished doing the foundations class and rewrote the song. So here it is. It's called See the Beauty. This is about personalizing the infinite. See the beauty, look inside. There's a presence and a power that cannot hide. The love of God within you, as constant as the tide. See the beauty, look inside, feel the glory, look inside. The perfect child of is still alive. Forgiveness is the answer. Let go, let God abide. Feel the glory. Look inside. We are born in stars far away. We've traveled space and time. What makes up you makes up me. It's perfect every time. Know the power. Look inside. To you, through you, as you reflect God's light. Spirit being human, God is all, no divine. Know the power. Look inside. Feel the glory. Look inside. See the beauty. Look inside. The face of God. Look inside.
Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So much heart shared today, so much. And speaking of heart, our message today comes from a dear and beautiful soul whose open heart is always open, and it will take us on amazing journeys, rabbit holes, revelations. You never know where you end up, but you always end up inspired and delighted by Reverend Julie Applegate. So, Julie, let's get personal.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess we're being a rabbit hole, maybe. Speaking of rabbits, oh my God, I am going to go down a rabbit hole. I've got such an issue with rabbits right now. I feel like Mr. McGregor. They ate all my dahlias. Okay, yeah, I know. So, it just doesn't sit them in my yard. But thank you for bringing that up, so we could we could get a little sympathy back. So you will notice some people with shawls on, and I believe Ruth had one this morning when she did the prayer. They're prayer practitioners here at the center, and they're available after the service if there is something you want them to pray with you, or just listen to something that you need to share. So we have here 5 prayer practitioners, plus the ministers are prayer practitioners too. And this is the center. This is what our teaching is founded on, prayer. And it evolved into churches just in an evolutionary practice, but prayer, because we know that prayer heals. And all of the prayer practitioners have years of training, and do take advantage of them. So if you see someone with a shawl, just grab them. And I believe there is a prayer form in the front of your pew, and there's a prayer box, so you can drop it in, or you can drop it in the offertory. It's very private, and you can sign your name or not sign your name, because I think God knows what and why. And we don't actually have to introduce ourselves, but you can. So, how many of you took some time this week to do some self-care. This month we've been focusing on self-care. So how many of you actually took some time out for some self-care this week? Awesome, awesome. Was it hard? No, wonderful. Yeah, it's a little bit hard. Yeah, and I did that too. I took a whole day where I could do just what I wanted. What I wanted was to clean my daughter's bedroom before she came to visit, but it didn't matter what it was. It like Catherine spoke about, is that freedom to make a choice, that you don't have to today. Today you can make a choice. So let's just keep on with the self-care, even though it's the end of the month. It's not the end of self-care. And this morning, mornings are my favorite time. Like, I love sunrise. And so I went outside, and I was just like, I was a little bit tired, and I said, okay, Spirit, because I'm filling in today, and I wanted to be able to say something, the right thing. And I said, what do I need to read this morning for my soul? And I thought of Louise Hay. How many of you all know, most of you know who Louise Hay is. Some of you might not. We're going to do a little series on Louise Hay, I think. So you will know who. And pretty awesome. But I read this morning, and it was so what I needed and so what we're talking about. It said, when people, and she was a practitioner, and this book is based on her many years of working with people as a prayer practitioner in Centers for Spiritual Living. And she said, when people come to me with a problem, I don't care what it is, poor health, lack of money, unfulfilling relationships, or stifled creativity. There's only one thing I ever work on, and that is loving the self. Yeah. I thought that was exactly what I needed, exactly what probably we all need to hear. The main thing, to be in relationship with ourselves. And our topic today is about personalizing the infinite. And in a sense, it's always personalized because it is as us. Our teaching says there is no separation between that which created us and who we are. So so it's really how we personalize that. How we personalize the infinite. How we care for ourselves, is reflected back in all of our relationships. Whether it's our relationship with money or work or each other, it's always, or ourself. We're always in relationship. Relationship is what it's about. And how we care for ourselves and is reflected back in all of our relationships. And you might think, well, no, it's how I learn how to do this. It's how I manage my task. It's how I interface. Well, aren't those our relationships? And we're going to do them based on a relationship with ourselves. And which is really, if you've read all the books on management and leadership and work and all that, and how to do this and the excellence of everything, it was kind of funny to come back and say, well, it all begins right here, every little bit of it. And so this year has been, our themes have been a guide through healing and awakening of our true selves. Okay, so when spiritual awakening, I love that term. Many of you just embrace that term, spiritual awakening. Yeah. It just, it has so much meaning. And when I created my ministry years ago, I had that as like a vision, spiritual awakening, and it spoke to me. And I thought, this is what our ministry here is about, all of us awakening, and that's a good thing to have as a vision. And I thought of it in terms of this mystical experience, having this absolute mystical experience, which is totally and completely possible, and is really just a wonderful gift that sometimes we get. But what I didn't know at the time was that was only part of it, because I sort of lived from my neck up. I don't know if any of you have that experience, like the neck up, that's it. But I only understood awakening in this mystical way and you've read people's reports of that. It's this complete awareness, an embodiment of the reality, the big R, the big R. And sometimes we just have that when we look at a sunset in a way, but it's this overwhelming thing. And I was like, yes, I just really want that. I didn't know that there were parts of me that needed to be healed, and that might have been more important. But the other part was this awakening to the awareness of this physical vehicle through which spirit is expressing on planet Earth. So, we're told that this is a temple, and I didn't really get that for a long time, but it totally is, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and how we care for it is so important. And that was the other part of awakening that I didn't get. So I hope you get that sooner than me, that caring for this physical body. So I have a metaphor. I just was thinking this. I hope you like it as much as I did. I kind of identify my car. I got my first driver's license when I was 14. Now, I lived in a rural area in Idaho, so 14-year-olds could drive, as dangerous as that may seem. They could get a license. And, oh my God, I had to beg and beg to get it, and finally I was able to get it and beg for all this stuff about driving. I love to drive, so car metaphors really work for me. So I had this thought of how can we talk about personal care? And it's like, okay, your goal is to go to Outback, Arizona. And I had to pick a place you could only get to by car, by the way. I didn't read this metaphor. You might notice it's a little rough because I created it myself. So we're going to go to Outback, Arizona. And I'm driving, and you're driving wherever you're going to go, and you're all excited because this is a great trip you've been looking forward to, and you're super, super busy getting everything ready and all the things that you have to do on your to-do list and your job and all that has to get done before you leave. And just so much to do. But you're actually looking forward to driving on this trip, and it's been a long time goal to get to Outback, Arizona. And so, but you didn't have time to change the oil or check the tires or all those other things. But, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay because you know what? You prayed about it. You got that, didn't you? God works through us, right? Okay. So on top of that, you have a friend of yours or acquaintance, they may not, I don't even think they're a really close friend, they're just an acquaintance. They decide that they need to get to Wyatt Earp, California, which, by the way, that's a real town. Wyatt Earp, California, it is. And so they say, well, that's not too far out of the way. Could you drop me off on your way? Well, because you have no boundaries in relationships, you say yes. Even though you really would rather not, and you only have funds to really get you to Outback, but you do it because you have no boundaries. And so you get there, and it's going to make you a little late, but and so when you get to California, you drop off this person, and the car breaks down on the way because guess what? You haven't tended to it. And you haven't taken care of it. And if you don't get to where you want to go on time when you want to do it, guess what? We blame the car and the other person. It's their fault. And I have this crummy car that I didn't maintain. So, did you guys get that metaphor? I'm sorry. I was so pleased with that. But see, we blame the car, we blame the person. Well, if they hadn't asked me to do that, if I had my car, had a better car. But this is the idea, our whole journey here, to awaken to self-care. Because in truth, we're not even telling ourselves the truth about that, are we? We didn't want to do that extra trip. We didn't want to take them to California. But we weren't exactly honest about that. And you know what that does? That creates a little tension in our body, doesn't it? And so right now, you know what that tension does? You know that feeling. It kind of shuts down the heart, doesn't it? It really does. It shuts it down a little bit. So we can't feel and know more about what's true for us, because now we're not even telling ourselves the truth. And we're not caring for what's good about us. So there's infinite possibilities in us waiting to be tapped to the goals we want to reach. And if we're feeling those goals calling us, then they are implanted there for a reason. And we hold the key to unlock that. And it's always back to the self, not in a selfish way, you see. But the other thing is, when we don't do what's right for us, we start getting resentful, don't we? And how does that help? How does that help? So I came across this little writing. It was written on a tomb of an Anglican bishop in 1100. It's in Westminster Abbey. And what he said is, when I was young and free and my imagination had no limits, I dreamed of changing the world. As I grew older and wiser, I discovered the world would not change. So I shortened my sights somewhat and decided to change my country. But it too seemed immovable. As I grew into my twilight years, in one last desperate attempt, I settled for changing only my family. You love that? Okay, because you laughed, I know that we've all tried that, haven't we? Yeah. And I have to say, how's it going? But, and then changing those closest to me, but alas, they would not have it. And now as I lay on my deathbed, I suddenly realize, if I had only changed myself first, then by example, I would have changed my family. And from their inspiration and encouragement, I would then have been able to be better for my country. And who knows, I may even have changed the world. Yeah. We haven't discovered anything new, have we? It's just new for us. And so the first thing is to be ourselves. And it's imperative in creating healthy relationships with ourselves in all relationships, because all of our relationships reflect ourselves, don't they? There's nothing else to do but to reflect ourselves. And how we can personalize that divine within us so that what shows up is so much wiser and holier. Cast your bread upon the waters, and it returns. So I came across, as I was looking through my things yesterday, be yourself. It says, and I didn't have the name of the person who wrote this, so I'm sorry. Ever since I was a little kid, I didn't want to be me. I wanted to be like Billy Whittleton. And Billy Whittleton didn't even like me. I walked like he walked, I talked like he talked, and I signed up for high school, the same high school he signed up for, which was to say Billy Whittleton was in charge. And he began to hang around with Herbie Andaman. He walked like Herbie, and he talked like Herbie. It messed me up. I began to walk and talk like Billy, who was walking and talking like Herbie. And then it dawned on me that Herbie Vanderman walked and talked like Joey Haviland, and Joey walked and talked like Corky Salmonson. And here I am walking and talking like Billy, Billy's imitation of Herbie's version of Joey, trying to walk and talk like Corky. And who do you think Corky is always walking and talking like? Of all people, Dopey Wellington, that little pest who walks and talks like me. So how often do we spend our time trying to be like someone we're not? And it takes gracing us with time for ourselves to get to know ourselves. And if we really know ourselves, we can release that power that's within us. Because we can't release somebody else's power, can we? If we try to be like them, we have lost the access to the power that is within us. And so I used to do a fair amount of counseling in my ministry many years ago. And one of the recurring themes, of course, in some way, all of the themes were relationships. And I inevitably heard how he or she they thought was the right person for them, but they could never, that person just didn't meet their needs. And that didn't fulfill them. And, and everyone would talk about what needed to be talked about. So what I discovered, we're all often looking, and in these counseling sessions, it was so true, in relationships particularly, looking for someone to fill them up. But the problem was, both people were looking for someone to fill them up. And so there were two empty people who had nothing to give. And I would often suggest, this is true, I almost always suggested for the individual to take at least a year off from any new relationship and just get to know themselves and to fill themselves up and discover who they are. I have to tell you, it rarely worked. Wasn't very successful, but I remember only one person who actually did that. And I even tried that on a cousin, just but you can't really, as we discovered from the bishop, tell somebody else what to do. But no one can fill us up. See, this is the thing. No one can fill us up. And we must come into all of our relationships, and that's true whether it's money or work or a love relationship, filled up. Or we will constantly be in search for something to fill us up. And so this is the idea of what we've been working on this year, and this month, particularly self-care, to take time for us to discover who we are. Because you see, the truth is, we're already filled. We're already filled. It's an illusion that we have created that we're not. But illusions are very powerful. And so to come into relationship with this infinite presence within us and allow it to express as us. And when we know who we are, it is the most magnificent thing in the world. Because we can walk in calmness. We can love the other without worrying if they love us, you guys. Without worrying, because we know there is enough love and we do not have to have something else to fill us up. And then we can truly be a beacon. And so I have questions for us, and if you want to take the question, I copied them here. Questions for us. Knowing thoughts or things, how am I judging myself? How am I judging myself? Who am I comparing myself to? And this is, we covered this, I think, last month or the month before, and I've come to know how powerful this is. How is shame controlling my emotions? And that's a tricky one because we hide from those things. And sometimes it takes work to really get to what that's about. But keep on looking. Do I take time to be alone with my own soul? Do I listen to my inner voice? Do I trust this voice to guide me? I listened to a memoir last week called Boy Lost. How his whole culture, his whole religion said who he was wasn't okay. His whole life had been that way, and God could not love him. And of course, that's not true. But we get told a lot of things that aren't true. And how many of them do we believe? And yet there is an inner voice in us that says, that's not true. Even if you hear something right here, don't believe it until you question and make it yours. Question everything. Question everything. You have an inner voice that knows what is right for you, that infinite presence in you, as you. And the last one, do I listen to how am I personalizing the infinite in my life? And think about what that means. Think about what that means. So as we come to the last day of where we're focusing on self-care in our messages, it's been powerful for me, and I thank you for allowing me to be here and share with you because it makes me focus. And so thank you for being here. And let us go within just a moment and breathe deeply. And what I want us to do is just to feel, I use light and energy. I visualize the infinite as light surrounding me. However you do that, just take a moment and see yourselves wrapped in that which is. Permeating every cell in your body. Every cell in your body is intelligent. Every cell is intelligent. Every cell has a purpose. And within you is a wisdom presence, the essence of who you are. And it knows the truth for you. Allow that light, that presence of the divine that is who you are, to fully shine through every cell in your body, releasing anything unlike divine anything, any concept that you have accepted that is not in alignment with the divine perfection that you are. And take a moment to just breathe into that. you are wonderfully made. And I stand in awe and honor of each one of us here, affirming this infinite goodness. And I just say, and so it is. Amen.
Ready, you guys?
The sun is shining, the birds they're singing their sweet song. Flowers are blooming and there's a sweet smell in the air. I take a deep breath in and feel such aliveness. I open up and feel a holy presence. I feel a holy presence. I feel the light of God. I feel a radiant essence. I feel an infinite love. Things come, things go, things are ever changing. I release my grip and let him go. There's something here and now that's never changing. No, no, no. There's something here and now that overflows. I feel a holy presence. I feel the light of God. I feel a radiant essence. I feel an infinite love. Well, I feel that holy presence. I'm feeling the light of God. I feel a radiant essence. I feel an infinite love. Be-doo, be-doo, be-doo-be-doo.
We come to the time where we share our gratitude in other ways. Do we have a couple of, oh, we do. Thank you, Catherine and Michelle. When did we do that? Okay, now, okay. We have in your program, under the offering, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. So help me.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
I just want to receive these gifts in deep gratitude, knowing that there is no separation between the gift and the giver, and to those to whom they are given. We are all one. We are all one, and I am deeply grateful for us sharing together. And so it is. Amen. And let us now stand for our prayer of protection and our peace song. And so together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. And so let's just make a circle.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous love. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Simon walking back. I just felt it.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Friends, thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Sorry.